Isaac Bashevis Singer's short story collection, Gimpel the Fool, and Other Stories appeared in 1957, featuring translations from the original Yiddish by, among others, Nobel laureate Saul Bellow. Singer himself would go on to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1978 for his impassioned narrative art which, with roots in a Polish-Jewish cultural tradition, brings universal conditions to life. Drawing upon centuries of Jewish folklore, Singer's stories resurrect the world of the shtetl, the small Eastern European Jewish towns largely wiped out during the Holocaust. Within these tales, demons, dybbuks, and other spectral beings haunt the lives of ordinary people, tempting them towards sin and despair. In the title story, Gimpel of Frampol is a baker and the town's perennial fool, ridiculed and deceived by his neighbors. They arrange for him to marry Elka, the village prostitute, and 4 months later, when she gives birth, Gimpel accepts her claim that the baby is his, just born prematurely. Time and again, he tolerates deception, never bitter, believing that appearances can lie. Even when he finds another man in bed with Elka, he dismisses it as a possible hallucination. Elka bears 6 children, none of them Gimpel's, and dies. A demon urges Gimpel to revenge himself by urinating in the dough, but instead he abandons the town, becoming a wandering storyteller. In his travels, he dreams of Elka and holds no resentment, convinced the visible world is but an illusion concealing a deeper truth. The Gentleman from Krakow, also set in Frampol, introduces a wealthy doctor who arrives during a time of drought and famine. Tossing gold coins like a benefactor, he hosts a lavish feast and whimsically arranges marriages for the townspeople, even selecting a prostitute as his bride. But he is the devil in disguise, and under his spell, the town succumbs to frenzied debauchery. The orgy of sin ends in a fiery inferno, and though the town is rebuilt, it bears the scar of its moral collapse. Pelte, the wife killer, is a rich, homely man suspected of murdering 3 wives, though no proof ever surfaces. When he marries a 4th time, the new wife turns the tables, robbing him blind before dying of a stroke. Pelte lives out his final years in lonely obscurity, and when he dies at 100, his fortune vanishes like dust. By the light of memorial candles follows 3 beggars sharing a night's shelter. One, a former gravedigger, confesses his haunting memory. As he buried a young girl, she rose and asked for water. His horror stems not only from that moment, but from the dread that he may have unknowingly buried others alive. He hopes death will finally reveal the truth. In 3 of the stories, demons narrate their mischief without apology. In the mirror, Zirel, enchanted by her own reflection, is drawn through the glass by an evil spirit and condemned to eternal torment. The Unseen recounts Satan's campaign to ruin a virtuous old man, Nathan, who has remained faithful to his wife for 50 years, until Satan inspires lust for a young servant, shattering his peace. In From the Diary of One Not Born, a malicious spirit gleefully describes sowing chaos, overturning soup bowls, inciting suicide, and disguised as a fly, biting a rabbi's nose during his first sermon. In Joy, Rabbi Bainish suffers losses reminiscent of Job. Every one of his children dies. Unlike Job, Bainish loses his faith, though he continues to act charitably. When his daughter appears in a dream, promising his place in heaven, his faith is restored. The Fire tells of a good man who envies his successful brother so intensely he nearly sets his house ablaze. When the house burns down by chance, he is consumed by guilt, fearing his jealousy may somehow have caused it. In The Old Man, Reb Moshe Ber endures the tragedies of both world wars. After losing his home and family, he wanders Poland before settling in his native Austrian town. There he remarries and fathers a child at 100. The little shoemaker finds solace in his sons, though each one initially leaves him behind to seek fortune in America. With the Nazis rising, the shoemaker himself emigrates and reunites with them, continuing the family trade in a new world. Literary scholar Ben Siegel argues that the thread uniting these stories is choice. He cites Rabbi Bainish, who reflects, "Life means free choice, and freedom is mystery. If one knew the truth, how could there be freedom?" Singer's characters are constantly confronted by temptation and trials, forced to choose between faith and doubt, goodness and vice. Their decisions lead to sorrow or redemption, shaped always by the mystery of existence and the possibility of divine justice, or its absence. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.